Welcome to Gail's Garden, Herbs and More. I wanted to have just a little talk with you, maybe give you encouragement and some ideas. We want to be healthy. That's one of the most precious things that we have, one of the tools that we have to be able to be a blessing to others, to be able to enjoy our families, our children, our grandchildren as we get older, to do the things that we can. That's a special gift and a blessing, is to have your health. We've been given tools, other tools, to have that tool in our life. God gave us plants and herbs for medicine. And I know we have doctors, and I'm thankful we have doctors to help in medical crises and things like that, I suppose. I think more so than some of the things that we have now. It seems like money is in control of so much, but I don't want to get into the politics side. I just want to mention a few things that might encourage you and get you to thinking more along these lines. And I think a lot of you are, there wouldn't be this movement more to homesteading, to herbs, that type of thing. I have had a great desire about plants and herbs since as far back as I can remember, even as a child. I would play with plants, not knowing anything about herbs, but picking rose petals and putting them in water and soaking them just to see what it would do, and loving the smell of the water and splashing it on myself. And I hadn't a clue that was an infusion. But we need to incorporate certain things into our life. You can't be a cherry picker and say, well, I just like this, maybe I'll just take these herbs. It's not like taking a pill. There's so many things that are involved. I'd like to tell you my age, because I think some of you would be surprised what my age is. But I'm not going to. But I think you would be shocked. But I didn't really know a lot about herbs. There's some things, like I picked eucalyptus when my kids were little and boiled it in a pot to make the room smell better and ease the breathing if we had a cold in the house. And I hadn't a clue. I didn't have time to study on herbs at that time. I was involved in other things. But just instinctively, I did a lot of things. But I did listen as I worked around the house when I was raising my kids and had my baby and all that, and my babies. I knew that when they were pushing margarine, that wasn't the thing, because it wasn't natural. So I tried to stay as much as I could away from margarines, and I would do my butter instead because it was natural. I tried to stay as natural as I could, just common sense, and then picked up and studied as I could. That was like when I was 19, 20. As soon as I left home, I wanted to start delving into that area. My mom always had a garden, though, when I was growing up. And I think that influenced me a lot, too. And fresh fruits and vegetables and, just that type of thing. And living in the country a lot, or the suburbs of town. Sometimes I lived not in a big city town, but suburb outskirts. Just the influences that affect your life. But all of us want to be healthier, and there's too much sickness. Grandma told me that years and years ago, people just didn't get sick like this. To have a cold or the flu might happen once in your life, at least for those people that lived out in the Ozarks like they did. She said the people just were out working their fields and working and doing the things they needed to do, but getting sick was very unusual, that kind of sickness. I think they would probably, I can't remember everything she said, but in my own mind I'm thinking they would probably have more problems with things like breaking a leg or something like that. Okay, so we've got too many sicknesses. Let's try to get away from some of the things that are causing. We can't get away from everything, but let's try to get away from some. In growing up, I knew I had to stay, let's get back to the butter situation. I knew I had to stay away from hydrogenated oils. I started digging into that, listening and what some doctors had to say about it, comparing what one doctor said to another. so I started staying away from partially hydrogenated and hydrogenated foods. I stayed away from MSG, and I started trying to get away from a lot of that stuff. And it has helped me. Okay, I don't know if I should tell you or not, but I'm having my 63rd birthday this week. Well, the first day of next week on Sunday. And yeah, I'm finally starting to show my age. I don't look like a teenager anymore or anything like that, but I think I do pretty good. But it's by the grace of God. It's what God has blessed me with. And there's probably some genes involved in that a little bit too. But I also stayed away from a lot of that kind of thing that I think ages people and makes them sick. We're all going to get sick because we're inundated with viruses and molds and bad air and contaminated waters. And I try to filter my water now and with the Berkey and stuff like that. I try to do everything that I can because the less I can be sick, the better I feel. Our diet is really important, and I cheat. My goodness, this time of year especially, I've been eating cookies and banana bread, and I'm allergic to bananas except when it's cooked, so I was able to eat some banana bread. And stuff that I shouldn't be eating, but I try to make it as healthy as I can anyway. But yeah, we do need herbs. I have herbs every day in a tea at least, and in other ways if I can incorporate it into my cooking. And greens, I chop them up in my food processor real fine, and I mix them into everything I can mix them into and try to make it tasty at the same time. I'm continuing to try to do steady and more things that I can do, and I like to share that with you. Another thing is, I'm trying to go quickly. I don't want to bore you all. I know our time is valuable. Stress. We need to try to stay away from as much stress as we can. Let me tell you something that has helped me a lot. I kind of forgot about it for a while, and I have been busy with some things, and I've noticed I found myself clenched and my teeth clenched when I wake up in the mornings. And so at night, I remembered having a class years and years ago where she taught us to lay down, concentrate from the top of our head all the way down and relaxing. So I started doing that again not too long ago. And I realized, wow, I really had to concentrate. And all of a sudden I felt these muscles in here just kind of relax. And I just started feeling myself relax, and I slept so good. It's really important to stay away from as much stress as you can, to try to relax so you can sleep better. There's tonics, adaptogen herbs that you can get and make tonics. I will try to be sharing some more of these with you. Adaptogens are really, really good for you. I probably one of my favorites is Fotai, and I've been using a lot of ashwagandha lately too. That's a good one too. But there's a lot of things that are an adaptogen or maybe an herb that is similar to an adaptogen, which helps you to adapt to stressful situations or just to help your body to deal with things in this life, because we live in a pretty stressful life, and stress can really cause a lot of damage. It's a battle. It's a war that we're fighting against the elements and against stress and trying to fight for our health. We can't live forever, but while we're here, we would like to enjoy the time that we are here and maybe be a blessing to someone else. And I'm hoping that I can be a blessing to you and in this channel as well, with this channel. There's other things like holy basil is one and licorice root's good for you. I'm trying to think of some other things. Turmeric root, bacopa they say is good for the mind, and I think it's good for a lot of things. There's vitamin C is really, really, really important. And have you ever heard of the Indian gooseberry, or I'm not sure how you say it, but I think it's amla. Different people say it in different ways. That's real high in vitamin C. You want to try to get a lot of vitamin C into you. It helps in all kinds of ways. We need to protect our mind. There's a lot of herbs that do that. Stay away from aluminum cookware. There's just so many things that we can do. you can't just take one herb and say this is going to fix my mind. Maybe try several of them and try doing a lot of different things and getting enough rest, but not, you don't want to be too sleepy. You need exercise too, and you need so much in your life. You need to be things that are going to keep you in a positive mood, in a positive area. Our skin, now this is something I've not particularly read anything about, but it has really seemed to help my skin to stay soft and I think resilient. And that's that I take pretty hot baths. People say, oh, it'll dry you out, this or that. But it draws the blood to the surface and feeds the skin. I always try to put Epsom salt in my bath as well to get my magnesium, because it's absorbed through the skin and utilized much easier than if you take it through the mouth. I'm going to check my time here. I'm already at 11 minutes. So, but a hot bath seems to really help me. I know it may dry you out a little bit, but put a little oil on your skin later. I don't like to put oil continually on my skin because I like my skin to breathe too, but I do use some oil sometimes, occasionally in my bath. I do use it on my face, not every single day. Like I said, I like my skin to breathe, but quite a bit. Oh gosh, there are so many things that you can do. I'm hoping that I'm mentioning something. I'm just quickly going over the top. I would like to get through some of my videos a little more involved in some of this, tell you a little more about individual things, but you can't cherry pick. You've got to do an overall program to get better health and to stay younger longer. We're all going to get old, and we need to embrace that idea. I love a lot of things about being older. I have learned so much. I hate being ignorant and not knowing what's going on around me. And at least I've had a few years to learn things, and I know more of what's going on around me if I don't start losing this, because as you get older, they say your brain shrinks. So I have to really work hard at that at my age. And I probably should never have told my age. But anyway, going back to the adaptogen herbs and talking about the stress, I want to backtrack just a little. They do a lot of things other than just the stress. They protect the liver. They help get rid of what's called free radicals, and that's a study all in itself where these individual, I guess you would call them molecules, break loose, and they're free and ranging, and they cause damage in the body. But a lot of your adaptogens will help against the free radicals. They'll improve your muscle tone. They can improve your sleep. They can promote longevity. They can stable your moods. Help improve your immunity. I could go on and on and on. I just love adaptogen herbs. I do. I like a lot of herbs, but I really like adaptogens. Some help with asthma or your cardiovascular. They fight against cold and flu. They help you against depression. I could go on. Okay, now, if you have a skin problem, there's some foods that you might try, like a basmati rice or mung beans or chickpeas or beets, spinach, parsley, basil, cucumber, walnut, millet. How about let's just really get into the vegetables and nuts and seeds. I guess I have a little bit of trouble with, keeping my weight down sometimes, so... And here I am eating, the things I've eaten lately, and I'm trying to tell you to eat good, but I've been eating way too many cookies and things like that lately. But nuts and seeds and veggies, you can just eat. Now, your nuts and seeds you won't want to eat in abundance as you would vegetables, but they are really good for you. And you get vitamin E and all kinds of stuff out of that. I mean, I could just go on and on about that as well. Some foods that you might want to avoid if you're having... skin problems is maybe a real high protein diet. That probably wouldn't be good for your skin. You don't, of course, want the hydrogenated fats like I was talking about earlier. Sometimes some people have problems with tomatoes or cheese. Find out. You kind of might have to do a food elimination diet. Look that up if you're having skin problems and see what is bothering you, or other things that you might have. an elimination diet might be the way you have to do to figure out what's wrong and what type of things that you need, and you slowly start adding things in, and then you can find out what food is bothering you. Sometimes a food allergy can be causing a lot of problems. But overall, I just want to say, let's try this coming new year that we're getting about ready to enter in 2020 to focus more on getting our health so that we can live a happier, better life. And not only our physical health, but our spiritual health. I would like to leave with you the hope of all hopes is Jesus Christ. And with that hope, you have a promise of a better life hereafter, even better than what this can be. And this can be beautiful and can be a wonderful life, but it can also be heart-wrenching, and a lot of people are going through a lot of heartache and sad times, and this isn't our only hope. This life is not our only hope, but Jesus Christ can not only bring you a better life here, but a life in the hereafter. And I just want to leave that with you. I don't like pushing anything on anybody, but I know through all the things, and I've been through some rough things in life, I don't know how I would have made it without my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And I just want to leave you with that. I ask blessings for your year to come. May God bless you, and love, peace, and joy I ask for you. Bye-bye now.